Takano didn't have enough stamina to walk around in the mountains. She was running out of breath, but even so she continued to scream at the mountain dogs on the radio. If you can't dish it, if you can't take it, don't dish it, bitch. She wasn't using an intercom like the mountain dogs were. Instead, she was using communication unit on the back of one of the dogs, so he constantly had to listen to her yelling. She's gonna end up dead. Bro, shut up. Damn! Everyone is so useless! How can they call themselves a special unit? Whatever happened to the famous mountain dogs, huh? Takano bit her lower lip and squeezed her left arm with her nails. Her arms had nail marks all over them. She was holding her grandfather's research scrapbook in her left hand. Even Takano didn't know why she was holding it. Maybe she grabbed it unconsciously because she wanted her grandfather to comfort her. The mountain dogs had already suffered devastating damage. They had to walk around in an area they weren't familiar with, and they wasted their energy on the multitude of traps that had been set. Although they were as tough as they can be, they were getting exhausted. Shit! Does the Major even know any other commands than attack? Nightingale 1 to Nightingale 13! Watch out, your left wing is down! You're next! You've gotta be kidding me! Why me, damn it? He panicked. The same thing kept happening. His team members had been going down one at a time, starting from the left flank, and he was next. Did that mean the enemy was coming from his 9 o'clock? No, those demons didn't think normally. On this mountain, being aware of 360 degrees around you wasn't enough. Even being cautious of the ground below your feet and sky above your head wasn't enough. Where are they fucking coming from? Those bastards! Come here! Come here! Come the fuck at me! Nightingale 13 held his taser in front of him as he looked around timidly. Oh, and now the taser's here again. Welcome back, weapon. This taser could have been a powerful weapon, but it was far more effectively used indoors. On this mountain, it was almost worthless, sure. Nightingale 13 heard a noise behind him from a bush. He thought he saw something, so he fired his taser. The electrodes flew out into the bush. Did you just imagine it? He felt a tug on his taser. The cord from the taser was stuck in the bush and he couldn't rewind it. If it wasn't useless before, it certainly had become that way. Then he heard a noise behind him again, and this time he saw someone coming at him. But his weapon was useless. The newcomer growled at him. Damn you! That was all it took. Because he was so scared he didn't think. That was exactly what Satoko expected. Satoko, who was up in the tree, dropped a metal bucket on his head. It landed perfectly! What the heck is this? The bucket had some drawings on it. What were they? They were drawings of strange, unknown creatures. They somehow resembled those strange characters you see on educational TV programs. Aren't they just so cute? Take it home with you! As Rena jumped out from another bush, she hit the bucket with a stick. No, maybe it should be described as a strike instead of a hit. The man flew backwards. Keiichi was ready for him. The stance he was in looked a bit like... That's it. He looked like a batter in a batter's box. He was on one foot. That was the legendary one-foot swing created by that world-famous baseball player. Destructive force can't be measured from just one direction. It's a function of both speeds added together. Both Keiichi's strike and the speed of his opponent created a truly amazing destructive force. Whoa! A home run bunt! With an exhilarating and magnificent sound, the mountain dog flew into the air in the opposite direction. Then he rolled down on the ground and stopped. There, Rika awaited him. It was almost as though they calculated that he would end up there. Poor thing, poor thing. Pat, pat, meep, meep. Rika patted the bucket happily. This comforting moment for Nightingale 13 only lasted for a second. Mion shot her taser at his butt. What is it with this game and butts? Does this game have a fetish I don't know about? Nightingale 13 jerked for a moment, then went limp. Another one down. Let's tie him up. Keiichi and Reina jumped on him and tied his hands behind his back with a wire. Oh, ow! That was great! What a team we are! Oh, that was perfect! We shall do combination 7 next. Oh, I want to do 5 again! Oh, you liked that one, did you? You might have a hidden talent for using traps, Hanyu-san. Hanyu and Satoko high-fived. While Keiichi and Reina tied Nightingale 13 up, Rika tried to sense something in the air. Meep, meep, meep. Bing. I feel something coming towards us from that direction. Meep. There are 2, and they are both very scared, Meepa. Rika reported to Mion. She was a bit like a radar. Mion didn't even care about the guy they had just knocked out. She was already trying to figure out their next move while looking at Satoko's map and using the info Rika gave her. Everyone eagerly awaited Mion's next order. Why are you looking at me that way? You haven't had enough fun yet? Yeah. I guess we're just getting warmed up, huh? Shall we continue? Let's get them all! Yeah! Mion was a great leader. She had both leadership skills and tactical ability, but more than anything else, she was great at encouraging people's spirits. There are no cowardly soldiers under a brave general, and brave soldiers fight like 1,000,000 men under Mion's command. Nobody could stop Mion and her club members. Both Mion and Okanogi's original estimates were too low. Now Okanogi was thinking something else. Before they started this siege, he likened one of them to a well-trained platoon, but they didn't fit anymore. They were on par with an elite armored division. Foot soldiers couldn't beat an armored division. What Okanogi had was just a company. What? All those words mean absolutely nothing to me. Okanogi needed someone to pump the mountain full of holes. If he couldn't have that, he needed a submarine to fire a nuclear weapon. If he couldn't have that, he wanted to retreat. Okanogi no longer doubted it. The enemy commander was a genius. Under a mighty commander, all soldiers become heroes. Oh my god. He wanted to see the face of the commander, or at least he wanted to know their name. But then Okanogi remembered that demons used to live in Hinamizawa. He also realized the commander had to be a demon. Nightingale 13 is down. Phoenix 4 is down. This is Skylark 10. I can hear the voices of children. I'm surrounded. Help me. I'm pretty sure some of these people were already tied up, but whatever. Skylark 10, fall back, fall back! To where? This is Phoenix 9. I found R. I'm following her. I need assistance. Phoenix 9, where are you? I don't know where you are. Give me your current location. There is a fog. It's cold. Is this a riverbank? Phoenix 9, there are no rivers near us. Calm down, where are you? What? I can see my dead sister on the other side of the river. Sis! Phoenix 9! Phoenix 9! Answer me! Phoenix 9 is down! This is impossible. There must be the demons of this mountain. I know they are being demoned away. None of us are making it out of here alive tonight! Stop saying things like that. All unit leaders, conduct a roll call and give your members some encouragement. Our enemies aren't demons. They're just a bunch of damn kids. Show them what we've got. I hear that. Whose intercom is it coming from? mine! It's coming from mine! A bear! Wah!
This is Phoenix 3. Are there wild bears here? That wasn't in the briefing. Phoenix 1, let's fall back. Give us approval to use firearms.
Don't be stupid! There are no wild bears around here! It's just them! Don't let them fool you! You foolish humans! Know your sins for stepping onto this sacred ground. Be grateful to me, for I am giving you a chance to atone! Damn it! She has one of our intercoms! Don't let the enemy fool you! You fearless humans! If you can only learn by making mistakes, then I shall teach you.
This is Nightingale 1. Where is everyone? Where did you all go? Come in, come in!
I see a helpless bird getting lost in a forbidden forest. Do you want to know that badly? Do you want to know about the world of demons? Say goodbye to the world of humans. Curse your foolishness for not listening to my warning.
Eh?
Yeah! Who was that? Nightingale, roll call. Yeah!
One more down! Who was it? By the way, HQ, I've got someone on my left, right? I'm not alone, am I?
Do you want to hear more painful voices? Yeah!
Bzz. What was that? What made that sound? I'd seen someone jump in front of a train before. It made that exact same sound. That's the sound of a human body being crushed. I don't want to die! Not like that! I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Please! Cut me some of the mountain! Please stop! I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing it because I get paid.
Nightingale, what to base? This isn't working. Too many unit members are dropping out and it's almost impossible to get them to fight anymore. We can't maintain the battle line. We are just going to lose more men.
I know I'm being ridiculous. Calm down, Nightingale 1. The rest of our soldiers are all amateurs in the field. You graduated from that hell. So what are you doing getting shook up? Calm down and set an example. Base, there's no response from Nightingale 1. I can't believe it, but he's down. This is impossible. They are demons.
No, damn it! Our enemy is even using psychological warfare. Those damn punks are winning against a professional unconventional warfare unit.
Radios are usually helpful to communication tools, but in this case they backfired. The club members took an intercom from the mountain dog they knocked out and used it to corner the other members psychologically. It worked even more effectively because they were in enemy territory and were unfamiliar with the terrain. The best solution would be make everyone stop using the intercom, but that would give the enemy more chances to attack them individually. Okanogi was growing fearful of the club members, and as he still hadn't grasped their true identities. However, Takano still hadn't recognized how serious the situation was. She kept yelling at the mountain dogs to get their act together. Okanogi could tell she was exactly the type of commander who only commanded to attack and let her men die. But Takano's reckless orders were working in a way. Although the club members were winning, their area of operation was getting smaller. How many people do they have? Is it just limitless? The club members were trying to lure their enemies to one trap area after another. In other words, they were defeating the mountain dogs by allowing them to come into their territory. The mountain dogs were about to be annihilated, but the curtains were closing on the club members' theater too. Okanogi realized his enemies were trying to finish this battle in a hurry. If the mountain dogs fell back, everything they'd done would be for nothing. He didn't want to, but he had to follow the princess's order. Okanogi figured he was finally about to get his enemies. Hanyu and Keiichi continued to act over the commandeered radio.
Oh, that was great, Hanyu-chan. You sounded like a real god. You really were awesome, Hanyu. I never thought a normal person could sound like that. That's That's because she is a god. Nipa. Oh, but Keiji was great too. His scream was incredible, like someone was strangling a chicken. Oh, that was easy for Keiichi-san, no? In our club, he's also known as the magician of words. As long as my opponent is a human being with ears, I can control him. You should become a voice actor.
Well, thank you, I am.
I bet you'd be famous. Nipa. Can you hear me? I am Takano, Major Takano. I'm your boss's boss. Listen well, there is no god or demon. And if there is, you can still fight. Drag God down from its pedestal. Sky like a nightingale. Join up and reorganize your forces. Phoenix, you join the remainder of Heron. The enemies are near the top of the mountain. Their base is probably somewhere by the Forestry Service's storage shed. They're at the top, so of course they could see our movements. They'll be trying to ambush you. Even if you have to stab each other, make sure you take them out. Major, let us arm ourselves. We need more than tasers. Absolutely not! We finally surrounded them. If we fall back, they'll escape. We almost have our hands around their necks. We just have to squeeze them.
At the same time, Okanogi received another radio call. Using that line meant his caller didn't want Takano to hear the conversation. Okanogi understood the meaning of that, so he walked away from Takano and answered quietly. Command vehicle to Phoenix 1. There's been an emergency. The research area of the clinic has been attacked. We received the intruder alarm from the entrance area, but it was turned off. But whoever turned it off didn't follow the false alarm procedure. We've been trying to confirm the situation, but there's been no response as of yet. All the security unit members in the basement have gone quiet. Okanogi understood everything. He had been fooled. He suspected a diversion, but he never even thought that the heavily armed security unit of the Mountain Dogs could be bested. If the enemies were soldiers in camouflage, then he wouldn't have been fooled. He underestimated them because they thought he was their kids, but now he really understood. He understood the reason why no adults had showed up in this battle on the mountain. I get it. Did you let Cuckoo in Tokyo know? Not yet. Would you like me to? Do it now. Tomitake has escaped. We've closed the escape route, but I guess that's no use. They defeated even the armed security unit within seconds. I don't think one RPG could stop them. Should we send reinforcements to the blockade team? Fool! If we had any extra men, the princess would have already sent them in. Actually, you're the one who isn't doing anything. Get in touch with the blockade team. Tell them to be prepared for a vehicle trying to break through the roadblock. Roger! Roger, we'll be ready. Everyone listen up. I just found out the clinic has been attacked and the hostage has escaped. The enemy is expected to break through the blockade. Get the RPG ready. I kind of dropped the voices except for the main characters, so apologies. We'll fire at them all at once. We have permission to shoot. One of the mountain dogs nodded and opened a narrow case in the trunk of the van. In that case was a powerful anti-tank weapon designated RPG-7. Do you really need an anti-tank weapon? What the fuck? They're not in a tank. They're in a freaking car. Also, I don't think they would have access to a tank. Just saying. This was a weapon that was blah, blah, blah. I don't care. They're coming up in a car. I don't care about its anti-tank weapon. Why are you using a weapon capable of reshaping the history of warfare versus a car? I'm sorry. It's just so funny. Each of the other 4 members had an MP5, the weapon used to destroy the tire on Irie's car. There was no question that the blockade team was well armed. They waited in the van until the enemy vehicle showed up. Once they saw a suspicious vehicle, they were planning to stop it by moving into the middle of the road. They just, blow up, some random, family, trying to go on vacation. They intended to destroy that vehicle by firing all at once. They all watched very carefully for suspicious vehicles coming from Hinamizawa. This was the only road that connected Hinamizawa to Okinomiya. It would take more than half a day to get there if they used a different route. What? Their blockade was where if that's the case, why don't you just walk? Their blockade was where the gravel road changed to a paved road. It was what people called the village border, and was their last chance to stop anyone from leaving. Hinamizawa was at a higher elevation from that point, so the vehicle would be coming downhill. They were probably expecting a barricade, as well as heavy resistance from the mountain dogs. If they wanted to pass this point, the only way would be by force. They could start a gunfight, but that would take too much time. Since they didn't want to waste any, they should avoid unnecessary conflict. Grumble. Someone's stomach growled, but nobody made fun of it. That was understandable, since all the members were getting ready for a battle. Nobody even wanted to laugh. They looked at the clock. It was almost noon. Of course they'd be getting hungry. At that time, they heard a noise coming from the direction of Hinamizawa. Obviously, the car was going very fast. Here they come! The van moved to the middle of the road and stopped there. Some of them hid behind the van, and some hid in the bushes on the side of the road. They pointed their guns at the suspicious vehicle coming towards them. The car must have been going very fast, but this was a straight road. No matter how fast it was going, it couldn't escape. That car happened to belong to Kasai. The shining black paint and the sound of the engine made it clear that it was a very nice car. Wait until the last possible second. We can only fire once. Make sure to get them in one shot. The RPG-7 fires unguided rockets. Therefore, hitting a quickly moving target is extremely difficult. In this case, however, their target was straight ahead. If the car tried to swerve suddenly, it'd flip. If that was the case, it wasn't necessary to shoot directly at it. Besides, according to what Kasai said, its power can easily flip a car without a direct hit. Even if there was only one chance to fire, the mountain dogs were definitely in an advantageous position. Tomitake-san, a suspicious van is blocking the road. Please stay low. Careful. Try to hit the nose of the van. I know! I've done this before. The mountain dogs aimed at the vehicle. It was coming right for them. Not yet, not yet. Wait until it's within 100 meters. I know! Just range me! The mountain dogs in the bushes laid wait, ready to fire. The rocket on the tip glinted eerily, like it was waiting for its prey. 200 meters? 150? Prepare to fire! The soldier put his finger on the trigger of the RPG-7 and blew up the world. Ah! Aksak-san, prepare for impact! 100 meters? Fire! Didn't they just say fire? Huh? What happened? Didn't the RPG-7 fire? That was when the one measuring the distance next to the shooter noticed something. The shooter's shoulder had been hit and was tumbling to the ground. I didn't think this might be the first bullet wound in the game. Was there a sniper? I didn't hear anything. It must have been from over 400 meters away. Who cares? Fire, fire, fire! Only their regular guns could stop the car now. The other mountain dogs fired all at once. But immediately they realized something. The car had been hit by a hail of bullets at close range. Any normal car would have been on fire in short order. But there was nothing. This wasn't a normal car. Of course it isn't. That's the Sonozaki family's specially made bulletproof limousine. Kasai, the spotter picked up the RPG. Don't let him fire. Huh. Do you think I'm going to miss him at this distance? Shion and Kasai were far beyond that straight road. They were in the enemy's blind spot on the other side of the hill, on top of an abandoned car. Shion was on her knees, checking the mountain dog's movements with a pair of military-grade high-power binoculars. Kasai was lying on top of the car with a sniper rifle in his hands. Shion figured this would be where the mountain dogs would place their ambush, so the only way for them to beat the dogs was to snipe at them. Both Shion and Shion's a badass. Both Shion and Kasai took sniping lessons in the US during the dam conflict. Kasai was now aiming at the man who picked up the RPG and was trying to take position with it.
Hurry up, fire it! What?
Again, the RPG wasn't fired and was down on the ground. The two who tried to shoot were both groaning and clutching at their wounds. They were both shot in the shoulder. The wounds wouldn't kill them, but they definitely couldn't fire that rocket. The car had arrived. The mountain dog screamed and dove out of its way. Aksaka must have been used to driving in this kind of situation. He hit the nose of the van just right and broke through the blockade. The van was hurled away and spun in a circle.
After them! Let's go, let's go!
How is this all fucking happen? I'm telling you, these villages are not that big. As the mountain dogs tried to get back into the van, Shion and Kasai shot at them. Yeah, fuck the other party. This is the real action right here. I also love that my favorite character, Shion, is not classified as a kid. She's classified as an adult. And can use a sniper. Take that, Neon. There is a delay between the impact and the sound of the gunshot. It's an extra long distance snipe. He must be a veteran sniper. Also a veteran spotter. They must know exactly where we are. Their aim is just too precise. The scope on a sniper rifle is one specifically made for sniping. Therefore, its field of vision is so narrow that the sniper is unable to see their surroundings well. That's why it's always necessary to pair up with a spotter. A spotter uses powerful binoculars to probe the situation and communicate information to the sniper. Snipers can't do their job alone. Their potential is unleashed only when paired up with a spotter equally as skilled. They tried to stand up and climb into the van, but the ultra-velocity rifle bullets pinned them down. The bullets ripped through the air, traveling faster than the speed of sound. The noise those bullets created was nothing like the sound from a normal gun. It almost sounded like the Grim Reaper himself swinging down his scythe. Furthermore, they could see the mountain dogs, but the dogs couldn't see them. Only those who actually had experience being sniped at could understand this fear. We can't even go near the van! Forget about us, just go! Okay, we'll go after them. There was a driver and one mountain dog in the van. They had to leave, otherwise it'd be too late. The driver made a snap judgment and slammed on the gas pedal. Are they after us? Yeah, they're after us. Boy, he drives well. He's catching up in that van. Ha! That's worrying. Please fend them off. Leave it to you. Tomitake opened the window near one of the back seats and leaned out. Hot air blew into the car. Though the car was jolting up and down on the bumpy road, he checked the mechanism of his gun calmly. He did it naturally, as though examining his favorite camera. The gun had been taken from one of the security guards in the basement. One of the dogs in the van held the same gun in his hands. Is nobody seeing like a fucking car chase? I'm telling you, these places are not that big. The weapons were evenly matched. The road was no longer straight, it curved like a snake. There were some bumps and sharp curves which made things in the car fly all over. A gunfight in this situation would be extremely difficult. Tomitake realized he'd run empty in no time if he wasted bullets, so instead of firing recklessly, he carefully waited for the right distance. And doing so, tried to convince his enemy they were still out of range to make them close the gap. On the other hand, the mountain dogs couldn't take it any longer. He fired, wasting his bullets on the bumpy road. I love how these mountain dogs were like expert assassins in the previous world, and now they're just like Sloppy, don't know what sniping is. Some of those bullets hit the body of Kasai's car, making a nasty metallic noise.
Tomatake-san, it's not safe to lean out like that. Don't worry. A shooter that clumsy can't hit me. If he was my student, he would have to start all over. In a situation like this, it's safer to wait and see for a moment. You predict their movements and barrage that prediction with bullets. Don't try to shoot the target. Try to let the bullet find it. Just like this!
Tomatake fired for the first time after cautiously waiting for the perfect moment. Those who understood guns would be fascinated with his shooting form. His stance was so firm he didn't lose control, even in the violent burst of shots. Yet there was no unnecessary tension and just enough slack. Despite being in such an anomalous position as leaning out from a car, Tomatake was shooting very precisely. It was nothing like what the mountain dogs did earlier. He shot at just the right time, so his bullet went where it was supposed to go. It was hard to believe that they were using the same gun. Nasty metallic sounds etched themselves into the body of the van, which made the mountain dogs realize just how good Tomatake was.
Shit! He's a crazy good shot! He isn't just some office worker in Tokyo!
I heard it once before. First Lieutenant Tomatake was transferred to the offices after an accident, but during his instructor years, he taught marksmanship for unconventional warfare units.
Huh? What are you saying? Are you saying he's... Ah!
Tomatake started to aim for the driver's seat to pressure them to give up. How is nobody dying? The mountain dogs could tell they were in a predicament. Like, seriously? How is nobody dead? Tomatake was capable of hitting his targets easily, even on such a bad road. Furthermore, they were in a bulletproof limousine, while the mountain dogs were in a regular van. The van, which incidentally was facing the limousine in pursuit. All his shots had just been warning ones. Unless the mountain dogs called off the chase, Tomatake would start shooting at them soon enough. They had no chance of winning.
Phoenix 1 to pursuit vehicle. If the blockade was broken through, that's enough. Don't go too far. Tomatake is an expert sniper. Don't throw away your lives.
What do we do? Can we let them go? Roger. This is the pursuit vehicle. Abandoning pursuit. We're falling back. Looks like they finally gave up. They're slowing down. Even after such a gunfight, you're still so calm. I bet you got through quite a bit, huh?
It's all thanks to my trading.
Tomatake, having slid back into the car, raised his fist in victory. He was as easygoing as ever, even after a gunfight. Akasaka felt like he was finally getting to know Tomatake for the first time.
First Lieutenant Tomatake! I'm glad you're safe. We were so worried that we couldn't get in touch with you.
Tomatake was making a call from a telephone booth outside of Okonomiya. The phone lines around them were on a different network than the one the mountain dogs had sabotaged. That was why he couldn't make the call. Tomatake had called Tokyo immediately. He told Tokyo that there were some spies from the mountain dogs within Tokyo's research division, which is how they found out where he was. He also told them that he was captured, but that he had escaped. He told them that they were fooled by the diversion and that they were on the mountain as they spoke. While he was captured, Major Takano, the ringleader, had hinted at the existence of masterminds she was working for, etc. He explained everything that he had learned thus far. Please take control of the EDA Institute immediately. They've already fired repeatedly and will only be a matter of time before the villagers find something out. I urge you to give command for the Bloodhounds to take action. Hello, this is Oka from the Research Division. I'm glad you're safe. The Bloodhounds are already standing by in the air, approximately 30 kilometers south of Hinamizawa. We've been requesting an order to move in, but the higher-ups are stubborn and don't want any problems, so they've been hesitating. But if you're safe, then that makes things simple. I'll tell them what you just told me now. I'm sure they'll approve the operation immediately. The bloodhounds will arrive within 20 minutes. Hey, we just got an arrest order for Major Takano and First Lieutenant Okanogi. We also got orders to secure the Irie Institute as well as to disarm the mountain dogs. All thanks to you. Great job.
Tomitake walked out of the telephone box. Is everything settled? Yes. The bloodhounds are moving in. They're already standing by in the air and should arrive within 20 minutes. How powerful are they? These bloodhounds, that is. The mountain dogs are a multi-purpose unit, largely deployed to preserve secrecy, but the bloodhounds are elite units specially trained to do battle. Both their skills and equipment are far superior. Things will be taken care of very quickly. Yay! Akasaka looked at his watch. It was about 12:30. The bloodhounds would arrive in about 20 minutes. Akasaka remembered how hungry he was. It was lunchtime already. If he was brave enough, he would head to a noodle shop, and by the time he was done, everything would have ended. For the mountain dogs, who fought terribly until the last possible moment, it was ending rather too soon. They were in an area where rice fields and a residential area mix. It was the border of Okonomiya. The sun was covered by a thin layer of silver clouds, and a cool breeze was blowing. It looked like it might even rain a little. The two of them couldn't even remember how many times their lives were threatened that day. They wanted nothing more than to let the rain soak their bodies. After a while, Akasaka spoke. So what do you think, Tomitake-san? What do you mean? I think I'll go back to Hinamizawa. They're still fighting. Yeah, that's true. But are you sure? We are safe here. Mika-chan is waiting for me. I haven't kept my promise yet. Okay then, let's go back. I actually have something to take care of too. I was thinking of going back anyway. Akasaka-san, have you been on a helicopter before? I have a permit for one. You have a helicopter? They watched the breeze blowing over the rice fields for a while, then returned to the bullet-ridden car. The car started up quickly, and they drove it back the way they came. It was only noon. There was still plenty of time before the Watanagashi festival began. Clouds covered the sky, and it suddenly grew cool. It was going to rain a bit, according to Okanogi's intuition. He already knew that their enemy had broken through the blockade, but he hadn't told Takano about it. By then, it didn't really make a difference if she knew or not, and he also wanted to reach the top of the mountain. Okanogi was only thinking about one thing. He was thinking about the enemy commander who made the day so horrible for him. He just couldn't accept his defeat until he saw the enemy's commander face to face. The battle was already lost. They just had a princess who didn't think they had yet. With the rest of the mountain dogs fallen into traps and ambushes, Okanogi had ordered all units except his to fall back from the front line and into the vehicles. The only ones left to go on were the very determined princess, Okanogi himself, and a handful of exhausted members of the mountain dogs who could barely walk. Eventually, the slope became a little more gentle. Okanogi and his companions finally arrived at the storage shack of the Forest Service. The club members were already aware that the mountain dogs had almost been totally annihilated. Both the numbers and strength of the dogs had fallen far below that of the club members. Therefore, when Okanogi saw his opponents lined up there to welcome them, he wasn't surprised. It was all the kids who'd driven the mountain dogs to destruction that entire day. They had also fought with everything they had.
Though they overwhelmed us from start to finish, they had used up all their stamina and were on their last legs as well. Still, their willpower kept them standing. A will born of the victor's honor, which God granted only to the winners.
There! There she is! It's our! Okanogi, capture her!
Major, how can you even say that to us under these circumstances?
What? Are you disobeying my order?
Oh, no. I have no intention of doing that. Okanogi removed his communication unit, his taser, and all the heavy equipment he had been carrying. Then he unbuttoned his shirt and told his men to stay put as he stepped forward. He strode forward about a half a distance towards the club members. I am Okanogi, also known as Phoenix One of the Mountain Dogs. I'm here to pay my respects to your leader. May I have their name? The club members looked at each other. One of them was a girl taller than the others. She couldn't be that old, but her hawk-like eyes were as sharp as a veteran soldier's. Okanogi didn't know her circumstances, but only those whose lives were threatened on a daily basis had eyes like that.
I'm the leader of this club. My name is Mion Sonozaki.
The girl stepped forward. How old are you? No, your age doesn't matter. From the turmoil at the police station this morning to the battle on the mountain, were you responsible for it all? The girl didn't answer, but her silence confirmed it more strongly than anything she could have said. You've won this battle. Our princess is the only one who can't understand that. There's nothing else we can do at this point. Tomitake broke through the blockade. I'm sure he already called Tokyo. I don't know when the suppression unit will arrive, but it's just a matter of time, I'm sure. If you want to laugh, go right ahead.
Okanogi, what are you doing? That's the enemy commander. Take her down.
Don't pay any attention to her.
What do you want?
You are a leader, and so am I. You understand, don't you? Is he surrendering?
I can't understand. He was in charge of the whole army, and all his men are down, so he can't just nod his head and accept defeats. So the defeated general can only requite himself by sacrificing himself, huh? Fine. Do what you need to satisfy yourself.
I appreciate it. Mion took a stance. Okanogi took a stance too. Although Okanogi was nothing like Akasaka, he was still a close combat specialist. Even when exhausted, there was no way Mion could defeat him. Takano thought so too. She thought Mion was underestimating Okanogi. But Mion knew. She knew that there was only one who could put him at ease. Are you ready?
Take this! Ha!
Okanogi readied, launched sharp from his waist, but Mion deflected it to the side with her elbow, wrapped her arm around underneath it, wrenching it back behind him and forced him into a hold. And then she twisted his arm even further. Okanogi was certain she was going to snap a bone. It was an excellent technique. She took his arm in one flowing motion. It was clear that Mion's self-defense techniques weren't spur of the moment. However, she didn't break Okanogi's arm, but instead threw him onto the ground. She didn't deliver the final blow, but rather chose to look down on him. Not bad.
Okanogi, what are you doing? Hurry up and subdue her!
Shut up! You just shut up and watch! This is a battle between leaders of men! Okay. Sorry. I love how he fought Akasaka, who had like 100 years training, apparently, and now it's like Mion. Okanogi got up quickly, took a stance once again, and then swung his arm down. But Mion avoided it effortlessly, and just like she did before, she grabbed his arm and turned it around. They were in the same position as before. And just like what happened then, she didn't break his arm, but threw him onto the ground and looked down on him. A rotation throw, huh? The way you move. It's not the Yoshin-kan technique, is it? Is it that classy Kobukan one? By the way, when you take your opponent's arm, you can knee him in the face if you want. I see. I'll try that next time. Oh, wow. Mion is incredible. She's actually standing toe-to-toe with their commander. Okanogi! Use your weapons! What do you think you're doing? Here I come! Ha! He had a stronger drive this time. He tried to kick right through her from a step and a half away. Yet this time Mion stepped into launch her own attack, jumping right towards the foot, trying hard to kick her. Mion kept herself low as she entered close range with Okanogi, shutting out his leg trying to kick her. So of course he went after her head. Okanogi raised his right arm to elbow her in the skull, but this time Mion rose up using both hands to keep his arm from swinging down. Unlike the flowing motions from earlier, this was simply a contest of strength. His physique was overwhelmingly superior to hers, so she couldn't win that test of strength. But suddenly, Mion let go and allowed Okanogi's elbow to come down. Then she stepped to the side. It's another repeat of before. Okanogi's arm was held to his back, and he ended up in the same position. But what came after was different. Okanogi's face lowered as Mion lifted his arm up high, then she swiftly brought her knee to his face. It was exactly the technique that Okanogi had just told her about. And once again, he was down on the ground. That's it. You learn quickly, don't you? You know, strategies, tactics, and combat. You already have everything you need to be an effective commander. You should have been in my position. You should have been the one to lead those shitty mountain dogs. Huh. Sorry. I never want to be the leader of a shady unit like yours. Mion scoffed. Okanogi took it with a smile, too. He wasn't trying to be humble. It was just his pure reaction. You're right. You shouldn't waste your talent on Japanese unconventional warfare units. I bet you could lead in the SAS, Delta, Spetsnaz, whatever you joined. You'd be one of their best. In any case. SAS? Delta Force? Lame. All of that is just way too boring. Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. Then tell me, what kind of folks do you want to be CEO for? I'm not interested in being in charge of units at all. Being a leader is fine. A leader? The leader of a British intelligence service, huh? Huh, that's fitting. No way. Listen, there's only one club I want to lead. That's the club in our Hinamizawa branch school. I'm not interested in games without penalties. The Magician of Words, Keiichi Mabara. Seeker of all things adorable and cute, Reina Ryugu. Trap Master Satoko, and charming enticer Rika-chan. And last but not least, our newcomer Hanyu Furude. I'll never find anything more fun than playing with them, even if I search this entire world. No wonder we couldn't win. With her as their leader, there was no way we could have won. You won before. Okanogi! Get a hold of yourself! Takano yelled at him, but Okanogi didn't hear it. Well, we finished with the warm-up. This next one is for real. You're going to die. Be ready for that. Come on. I'll give you a fitting end. Something you've been wanting all this time. Good enough. Here I come. Okanogi took about 5 steps backwards and breathed deep. His body twisted as he gathered all his spirit into his right fist. Just as he said, the next attack would be for real. He was putting everything he had into this one final blow. Mion narrowed her eyes, preparing to parry the blow with her side. The sky began to stir. They both felt raindrops on their foreheads.
Here I go. I'm going to kill you. So come get me, okay? Whenever you're done praying, go right ahead. That one tense moment was suddenly brought to an end. Ah! He dashed forward from a low position, just like a runner from a starting line. Then he added the twist from his body into the blow, as his right arm roared with all his power. A bolt of lightning punctuated that moment in time, burning the moment into our eyes. In that moment, Mion's stance hadn't changed at all. No, maybe she moved like lightning in the moment it struck. We had to recall the moment burned into our eyes to review the scene. Okanogi had swung with his right fist, which had enough power to shatter Mion's bones. So what if 100% of his power was directed back at him in a counterattack? When the lightning struck, Okanogi's body had been flying through the air. It was a legendary technique in Japanese martial arts, passed down in judo and aikido, the air throw. It looks as if one is being thrown without his opponent even touching him, a miraculous technique that occurs at lightning speed. Of all the techniques Mion possessed, it was the most sublime, advanced technique she could administer on the defeated General Okanogi. The feeling of freedom while flying in the air is more memorable than the impact of hitting the ground, supposedly. When Okanogi hit the ground behind Mion, a heavy rain suddenly began to fall. Helicopter! And just as it did, a massive helicopter appeared from the other side of the mountain. The helicopter's rotors stirred up in the air and blew away the raindrops like in a tornado. The rotor sounded much like a tornado, too. A rope uncoiled from the rear of the helicopter, and soldiers came sliding down it, one after another. The onlookers were stunned for a moment before realizing what they were seeing. It was the bloodhounds. The bloodhounds that Tobatake had called in. Having realized how bad the situation had become, Okanogi returned to the other members of the mountain dogs. Nothing was going their way anymore. The mountain dogs ran down the slope and disappeared into the woods. They dragged Takano with them, who couldn't understand what was going on. A voice echoed from the speaker attached to another helicopter circling around the mountain. To all staff of the EDA Institute, today at 12:30 p.m. the Institute's independent authority was frozen and is now under control of the Bloodhounds. At the same moment, HQ had ordered complete disarmament of all EDA Institute staff. All mountain dogs are to disarm themselves immediately and gather at the parking lot of the EDA clinic, or at the storage shack at the top of the mountain. Failure to respond accordingly will result in discipline under not only civilian law, but under self-defense force rules as well. Bloodhound members continued to slide down the rope from the helicopter. Even at a glance, they were very different from the mountain dogs. They were armed more heavily, and their guns were much larger. Such things had clearly differentiated the two units. Does this mean that we have one? I don't know. I've never seen this before, so I don't know if we really did.
Satoko and Rika sat down and hugged each other. They were both soaked in rain, but they still sat down in the mud. Mion stood solemnly in the rain as the leader of the winning team. The mountain dogs had abandoned the field. They all ran away with their tails between their legs. Keiichi and Reina ran over to Mion. Mion!
Mi-chan! It's over.
Yeah. Our club activity is over.
Rika-chan is safe! Everyone else is safe! Mi-chan, it's our victory!
You led us this far, Mion. It's all thanks to you. But Mion didn't seem to be listening to Keiichi and Reina. Instead, she mumbled to herself.
like punishments.
Huh?
Club activities can be cruel, huh? We fight to decide who's the loser. So that means everyone looks down on whoever does lose, right?
We don't look down on anyone. We just do the punishment and that's it.
Yeah, we do the punishment and that's it. We all enjoy laughing at the loser and then forget about it. That's why I like what we do. We all laugh, including the one who came in last. Nobody gets hurt. We all laugh and then we're done with it. That Okanogi guy thought he couldn't purify his sins unless he was defeated by me. I mean, sure, it got pretty serious. We were almost killed, too. But it's all over. Right? The game is over. And even though it is, there is no punishment for the mountain dogs.
There should be. Mion might have realized something when she threw Okanogi. Keiji didn't think anybody else could understand that. I don't know what you're trying to say, Mion. Forget about him. It's all over for them anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Everything is all over now. We're all alive! Nobody got seriously hurt! So, let's enjoy our happy ending.
That's right. Nobody got hurt. It really is a happy ending. While they hadn't yet confirmed Shion Kasai's safety, they were correct. This was the happy ending they had all been fighting for. However, Mion was still thinking. She only understood the reason for that in the moment the thunder struck. But as soon as the flash of lightning disappeared, her understanding vanished as well. All she could remember that was she noticed something very important, and that shortly after she completely forgot about it. She could only feel a great sense of loss. The bloodhounds soon surrounded the club members. At first, they thought the club members were their enemies, but when Tomitake appeared, he explained the whole situation. The commander of the bloodhounds appeared to beg the club members not to say a word about anything, as it was a politically sensitive incident. It was amusing to see a man like that beg while carrying all those weapons. Of course, they had no intention of talking to anyone about it. Once it had ended, it felt like a bad dream. If on the following day someone asked them what they had been doing, they might not even remember it. This day was that unrealistic for them. So even if they were asked, they wouldn't say a word.
Rika-chan! I'm glad you're safe. Aksaka! I'm glad you're safe too. Meep, meep, meep.
It all worked out great too. Are you all right? The clinic has been occupied by the bloodhounds. The mountain dogs are all surrendering too. Dr. Irie and a boy he was hiding have been put under the bloodhounds' protection as well.
Coach is safe too, is he? I'm very glad about that. Wait, a boy? Huh. I do wonder who that could be. Perhaps Tomita-san or Okamura-san were injured. Satoko, I'm very happy for you.
Mika's smile made it clear on what she had gone through. Someone could only smile like that after a long and exhausting struggle. Satoko had no idea what that smile meant. How much time would be needed to make her understand. Still, Irie will do something about it. For certain, he will bring Satoko's Nini back home.
That's right, Satoko. You haven't taken your shot today, have you? You can't forget about that. Quite true. How troublesome that I can't forget about the shot even in this situation.
Satoko seemed to have no idea that her medication was connected to the syndrome. Perhaps she was already aware, but pretended not to be. Rika vowed to herself that no matter how long it took, she was going to witness with her own eyes the moment her best friend finally parted with her tragic past.
At least I only need to take this shot twice a day. It was 3 times for the previous one.
Satoko also had no idea that Satoshi was involved in the development of her medication. Irie had said that Satoshi, as a specimen, had contributed much to Satoko's treatment. Even while asleep, Satoshi longed to ease that burden on Satoko, and those feelings must have influenced Satoko's medicine somehow. Satoko had to inject herself in the stomach. For privacy, she ran into the grove of trees to give herself a shot. There was no danger in her doing so. One after another, the bloodhounds dropped from the helicopters. Each helicopter must have carried at least 20 to 30 soldiers. There was one helicopter on top of the mountain and 2 more halfway down the slope. Troops were pouring down from all of them, leading to the impression that the entire mountain was under the bloodhounds' control. Nobody fired their weapons even once. The mountain dogs had no choice but to surrender. It wasn't raining hard at all. The sky should clear up after 20 or 30 minutes. It was the volatile weather typical of early summer. Satoko soon returned and spoke to her best friend.
Rika, I haven't seen Hanyu-san around. She was here a moment ago. Huh? Hanyu? Hanyu? Where are you? It was stupid of me to think that Tokyo had sent more support. They're acting as if they'd known of a loss there for a while now. I was the only one who didn't know. Who's talking? What's going on? Tell me this minute, Okanogi! This is it. They're the Bloodhounds. Tomatake called them in. The Bloodhounds? I've heard that name before, but aren't they similar to the Mountain Dogs? Why aren't you fighting back? You've got to be kidding me. We are Mountain Dogs, or simply a counterintelligence unit. On the other hand, the Bloodhounds are a real combat battalion. There's no way we could defeat them. The remaining 3 members looked at me in exhaustion. Why are they here in the first place? We captured Tomatake. Are there more spies? Who are they? Major, the clinic was attacked earlier. Haven't you heard that First Lieutenant Tomatake escaped? One of the 3 spoke up timidly, but Okanogi signaled him to shut up. Nobody told me this. When did that happen? What's going on, Okanogi? Wasn't there a blockade exactly so they couldn't escape the village? They aren't even responding to me anymore. I have been left behind. I'm the only one who didn't know. I'm being left out. If you give... I swear to God. The members looked at Okanogi, waiting for his command. Nobody's waiting for my order. Nobody even cares about my orders. Commander, there's a radio call from the command vehicle. One of the members handed the intercom to Okanogi. This is Phoenix 1. Commander, final orders from Kuko. Execute Kuko. Kuko, roger that. The Bloodhounds have us surrounded. We're being advised to surrender. What should we do? Command vehicle? No. Ota and Adachi? Good work. You're cleared to surrender. Disarm yourselves and follow the orders of the Bloodhounds. Roger that, Commander. All units, listen up. The command vehicle has been compromised. The clinic is probably in the enemy's hands as well. We've lost all our backup as well as equipment. All teams have been wiped out. I'm sure everyone is disarming themselves. The Mountain Dogs have been completely defeated. Not yet! Get in touch with Nomura-san in Tokyo! The Bloodhounds? So what? She'll send in units who can beat them immediately. R is still alive! We can activate the final operation! I must let Nomura-san know that! We have to restore communications with Tokyo! We really shouldn't have cut the telephone connections. But we did, so we'll have to recover the command vehicle. We'll get in touch with Tokyo on the radio. Fortunately, the men in the command vehicle surrendered without resistance, so I'm sure the Bloodhound's guard is down. Okanogi, you and the other 3 will be enough. It's still the 19th of June! The operation starts on the 21st? Or is it supposed to be the 22nd? We still have time! We'll manage, Okanogi! Go recover the command vehicle immediately! Why?
Why can't you follow my orders?
I'm a major! I'm your superior! Why are you listening to Okanogi but not me?
Major, didn't you hear what the helicopter said earlier? We've lost. There is absolutely nothing we can do anymore.
What are you saying, Okanogi? Are you already giving up? You saw that I was alive, didn't you? What happened to today was all because of that rumor that I was dead. But she's alive! That means today didn't happen. We can still use the emergency manual. As long as the Queen Carrier is alive, all we have to do is kill her. Then we'll have 48 hours to execute the manual.
Major, it's far beyond that point already. Tokyo doesn't care about the Queen Carrier or the 48 hours after death. Our final operation is a complete failure. Our clients must be running around desperately trying to destroy evidence. Our job here is done. I commanded the Mountain Dogs for about 10 years. It was a valuable experience, but it's all over today. And Major, your job is over too.
What? What do you mean my job is over? What are you talking about?
Major, your job was to rear that scrapbook in your hands.
What are you talking about?
I didn't expect Okanogi to start talking about my grandfather's scrapbook. I don't doubt that there is a disease called Hinamizawa syndrome. But the whole village going into a panic 48 hours after the queen dies? No one's ever seen that happen. No one knows if that's true or not.
Don't be ridiculous. Look here, it's somewhere in here. Where? I know it's in here. From the studies of other similar parasites in the brain, the statistics say, damn it, where is it?
I flipped through the pages of the scrapbook in panic.
I can't even remember what page I'm looking for.
Okanogi slapped the scrapbook aside and it thudded. No, it landed in a muddy puddle. It splashed onto the ground. The open pages of the scrapbook were face down in the muddy water and already turning color as they soaked up in the mud.
What are you doing? This is the most important.
As I crouched down to pick up the scrapbook, Okanogi stepped on it. The splash of muddy water hit me in the face. I had to witness my precious scrapbook being stepped on and covered in filth. Major, I don't really care if what's in this scrapbook is true or false. As a matter of fact, nobody does.
What do you mean by that?
I tried to get the scrapbook from under Okanogi's foot, but I couldn't pull it out. The clients in Tokyo merely wanted to see how many people would actually believe what's in this scrapbook. They didn't even care if it was truth or lies, as long as it was believable.
They didn't care?
No, they didn't. They just wanted some famous doctors to research the subject to come up with a report full of difficult terminology so they could deceive people. That was your job.
No, this isn't a lie. My grandfather and I researched it for many years. Come on, move your foot.
The scrapbook is getting soaked through. I'm trying my best so it's not ruined, but it's no use. The queen dies and the village must be killed? All you had to do was convince the higher-ups of that crazy story. Nobody cared about your parasites to begin with. They only cared if it could be used for political gain. You knew that, didn't you? And at this point, nobody will ever pay attention to that nonsense again. A lot of people bet on this scrapbook, and they lost. The Mountain Dogs lost too. That's all there is to it.
This isn't nonsense. This scrapbook holds the truth. Everything in it is the truth. My grandpa researched it, I researched it, and this is the result. Everyone believed in it. That's why they built such a beautiful research center, isn't it? They believed in it, and that's why Nomura-san got in touch with me. There must be these other people who will believe in my work. Because all of this is the future of humankind.
Okanogi got fed up and kicked me. I don't weigh much, so I fell backward and became soaked in the muddy water. Good. Okanoki walked over and looked down at me. Fortunately, there's still something the clients in Tokyo are expecting from you. Hey. One of the mountain... Yes! Kill her, please! Handed a gun to Okanoki. Okanoki checked the cylinder and then threw it over to me. What is this? Major. Why don't you use that to shoot yourself in the head? What? I looked at the gun. I'm used to seeing gun. If fucking Tomitake saves her, I'm gonna be so mad. Kill her! Actually, death is too good for her. I was never frightened by guns before, but for the first time I feel scared just looking at one. You know, this happens all the time, Major. Please take responsibility as the leader of the defeated force and shoot yourself. What are you saying? Nobody has ever told me to die before. Nobody has ever told me to kill myself. If you die, the clients can just blame you for everything. Actually, Tokyo is already preparing to do that. Don't be ridiculous. Why should I have to do that? I'm starting to sob. My body, I don't care. Well, you don't have to do it yourself if you don't wanna. Maybe that's too much to ask of you right now. Please kill her. Please. That would be such a satisfying ending. Kill this woman. She's not gonna die. 100% I bet you right now. Okanoki pulled his gun out and pointed it at me. The other members, having realized everything will work out if I die, just looked at me coldly. I'm going to say that I tried to talk you into surrendering, but you refused. We shot at each other and I had to kill you. That's the scenario. I gave you the gun so that you could kill yourself, rather than being killed by me. It's to show my appreciation for the time we've known each other. I don't want it to end like that. No. Who came up with this plan in the first place? I don't want this. It was your dearest friend, Nomura-san from Tokyo. Huh? They had a plan for damage control in case the final operation failed. Nomura-san's code name is Kuko. And yours is Baby Bird, isn't it? Do you know where cuckoos lay their eggs? What? Cuckoos lay their eggs in other birds' nests. Once they hatch, they kill the young of the original owner by pushing them out of the nest and then take it over. The baby birds on the ground are left helpless and they usually end up eaten by mountain dogs. I used the money I got from Uncle Koizumi to pay the mountain dogs, thinking I had gained a reliable ally. I always thought that. Although Okanoki was barbaric, he was very reliable. But my nest had been taken over. Major, you never had any allies to begin with. All you had to do was exactly what the clients in Tokyo wanted you to. But now it's over. Now you need to exit the stage. Look, you are not gonna make me feel sorry at all for this bitch. Because even if she was used for what you're wanting to try to make me believe right now, she still has the moral of a fucking chaotic, evil villain. Only somebody with that kind of insanity would be able to kill, murder an entire village of people and not feel bad about it. So just because she was used does not make me feel sorry for this wretched woman who ripped out Rika's intestines. Thank you. And if Tomitake saves her, I swear, take it. It's your precious scrapbook. Hold that in your left hand and pick up the gun with your right. The scrapbook was finally returned to me covered in mud. I held it with both hands and cried. What a joke the entire life of Mio Takano was. Right now is when I should just go back inside that chain link fence. My shaking hands held the ice-cold gun. There's only one bullet left in there. Sometimes a bullet can ricochet on the scalp. So that's why people usually put the muzzle in their mouths. Come on, Hold a gun point it like this, and die. I don't even want to cry for her. That's how much I hate her. Did she actually kill herself? Are you actually doing something right, game? In the hills of the mountain, a single gunshot echoed. With that gunshot, members of the Bloodhounds rushed in. Yes. Oh my god, are you actually killing her? Please don't make me happy for no reason. I never thought I'd be happy for somebody to die. Look, this woman has tortured, murdered, and, like, these children over, like, what book is this? 8? That many books? Worlds? Like I said, one gunshot is too nice for her. Major Takano was with us, but she refused to surrender. She tried shooting at us, so I had to fire a shot to intimidate her. Retriever 7 to leader. We arrested First Lieutenant Okonogi and 3 other members of the Mountain Dogs. Major... Wait, what? No! Why would you do that? Just kill her! She doesn't deserve to be alive! Fucking bitch! Her footprints are headed southwest, but the brush is too thick and we can't go any further. Requesting backup. Major Takano is armed. I repeat, Major Takano is armed. Retriever leader to all units. Major Takano is on the run. She's armed, so be cautious. Patrol the area and force her out. Come on. She's gonna run into Tomatake and they're gonna try to fucking make her make sense or whatever. Kill her. She has murdered children. I'm running through the mountain, covered in dirt and still holding the muddy scrapbook. I keep falling because of the mud, and branches and tree roots continue to torment me. I lost one of my shoes, so I decided to get rid of the other shoe too. This isn't the first time I've had to run like this. I don't care. This isn't the first time I've ran barefoot. I don't care. This isn't the first time I've felt such pain on the soles of my feet. I don't care. This isn't the first time I've cried like this. Good. I repeat, Major Takano, disarm yourself and surrender. You can't escape. The Mountain Dogs have surrendered. You have no more allies. The helicopter above my head is calling out my name. Fuck you. I crawled into a hollow tree. I held my knees and hid. The last time I ran barefoot like this was a very long time ago. My feet are bloody and swollen and can no longer walk. Good. I can only cry as I bite the corner of my scrapbook. Sadness and humiliation fight for dominance in my heart. Good. When I feel sad, I cry. And when I feel humiliated, I scratch myself to calm my anger. And... oh, maybe she has the disease. That'd be a suiting end, wouldn't it? Bitch. And I still have the gun in my right hand. The one with a single bullet in it. I have to kill myself. My death is the only thing that can bring it all to an end. Killing myself is the only way to go back to that day. But when I look at the scrapbook in my left hand, I'm assaulted by sadness and fear. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Oh, but you're fine murdering other people. Just die. Atone for your actions with death. She doesn't even care about atoning. I recalled the look in Okonogi's eyes. I know. I know I have committed sins. Whatever. There are more sins than I can possibly atone for. But, do I have to die for them? Yes. I don't want to die. Blah, blah, blah. Where's Tomatake? Gotta be fucking kidding me. I cried again and then noticed someone standing nearby. Oh. Oh. Yeah, rub it in her face. It's the girl. The girl whom I met with when I came to Hinamizawa, when the Ida Institute was first open. I met this girl at the shrine when I declared war on God. This girl is the god of this place. That god looked at me and sneered, rather than sympathizing. Why would she sympathize with you? Her and Rika went through 100 years because of your dumb ass.
Are you still trying to take God's place? Do you still deny that you're human, child of man? Long time no see. I lost. I lost this game. This is what I get for challenging God, I guess. Child of man, are you still after the position of a god? Are you still willing to endure for the sake of opposing the divine? No way. Taking a god's place really is impossible. Child of man, listen well. I will show you the way to godhood. With that gun in your right hand, and your life. The position of a god requires no flesh. Don't expect people to recognize your existence. Being a god is lonesome. You foolish child of man wanted to become one. Is that still what you desire? Are you telling me to shoot myself with this? That's it. Something that simple would make me a god? That's so simple. Then what is this? What have I been doing all this time? You shouldered the sins of many others. You purified all their sins by sacrificing yourself. Your courage will be praised, and you'll be allowed to take a seat among the gods. What's that? You're telling me to be their scapegoat? To take responsibility for all of them and die? Fuck you! I refuse! I absolutely refuse! Why don't you want that? To attain peace in the human world, there must always be one sacrifice for one sin. Isn't that the truth of the human world? Isn't that the method for purifying sin? Didn't you want to sacrifice one girl for the future you desired? What are you talking about? I don't understand anything you're saying. You don't. Because you are human. You don't even know how stupid you were to even want to become a god. I do. I don't want to die for other people to become a god. No way. I don't want to become a god at all. I am fine with being human. I just wanted someone to forgive me for being that way. That's all. But why is this happening? Then how will you purify the stain? How will you pay the price? Why does someone have to take the blame? They're all pushing responsibility onto other people. You are the blame. They maneuver this way and that just so they don't have to do dirty their own hands. Is that just what happens in the human world? No, that's not. Because when my parents and my grandpa were alive, things like that didn't happen. We were all happy. Nobody blamed anyone else. How did I fall out of that world? Why am I wandering around in the mountains alone in the rain? Because you're a dumb bitch. Why me? This is the punishment for my sins, isn't it? I knew it. I had noticed it. I made a huge mistake, but I didn't want to admit it. And when it was too late, I regretted it for the first time. No, you didn't. You only regretted it because you lost. So this is punishment for my sins. I won't even... The human world will want you to purify your sins. They'll be purified when you sacrifice yourself. That's the way of the human world. However, I'm not a human. I am a being above man. A being which fills the missing gaps in harmony. A being that forgives human sins. Man cannot forgive the sins of man. I am the one who forgives the sin of the children of the men. Don't forgive her. No! Fuck you! Demanding a sacrifice be paid for sins isn't the way of the human world, it's the way of demons. So this is not the world of man. This is the world of demons created by man and the demons infesting them. Humans cannot end that way of the world. So I became a god to grant that end. It was over 1,000 years of pain. I wanted to come down from this place. I desired a world where God doesn't need to make peace. And finally, after 1,000 years' time, I found that fragment. Come, child of man. I will forgive your sins in my name. Kneel and repent. Ask for forgiveness. Then you shall receive it. God will forgive you. God will forgive your human sins. The god in the form of a little girl walked up to me and reached out. As I knelt and looked down, she touched my head. Explode. Please explode. Hanyu, where are you? Hanyu-chan, answer if you can hear us. I heard voices in the distance. And then I saw a girl standing in front of me. She's one of Mion's club members, my most hated enemies. Shit. She's found me. The rain had already ceased. I decided to come out of the hollow of the tree. After the rain, it had grown so humid, I was starting to sweat all over. I'm soaked in sweat, mud, and rain. I feel filthy. You are filthy. I've been bitten by mosquitoes and my body is itching all over. This is why I hate the mountains. Don't say a word. I pointed the gun at her. The girl just looked at me calmly as if she didn't see it. At the very least, she did follow my order. What should I do? Should I take her as my hostage? I only have one bullet. How long can I keep running for? Hanyu! Where are you? Damn, she really is lost. There she is. Hanyu-san. Aw, shit. Why didn't you just kill her? She's gonna try to kill Rika now. Hanyu, where have you... I really am unlucky to the end. Or maybe you could call this a kind of luck. At the end, I managed to get some vengeance. Do you know what this is? It's a gun. Don't you dare move. The tables have turned now. Damn it, why now? Mion-chan, if you don't want anyone else to get shot, step forward. No, don't do it, Mi-chan! Mion stepped forward quietly. She certainly has a lot of courage. No wonder she's their leader. Thanks to you, I've been ruined. Some scary men on the mountain want me dead. They won't forgive me, but I can't just go out like that. At the very least, I want some revenge. Huh? I know you only have one bullet in that gun. That's right. But that one bullet could kill Mion-chan, couldn't it? Takano, are you going to shoot her? Don't move! If you do, I really might just fire this gun. Don't any of you move. Just stay behind me. How courageous is the spirit of self-sacrifice. Rather be shot yourself than letting your friends be shot. Well, it's not that easy to kill someone with just one shot. Of course, it depends on where you hit, though. I'm surprised. How can you be so brave? You want me to shoot you for all the others? Just so you know, if you think that I'll hesitate to shoot because they'll rush over here once they hear it, you're sadly mistaken. Go ahead, shoot me. But after you do, my friends will rip you to pieces. Let them try. They say you dig 2 holes when you curse another. Going down along with the great commander who made Okanogi surrender wouldn't be so bad. Go ahead and shoot me, but make sure it's me you hit. If you shoot anyone else, I'll put you through hell. Oh my, I'm shaking. No, don't, Mi-chan. Takano is serious. She really will shoot you. Someone will have to bite some time. Someone from the Bloodhounds will come for sure. I'm sure they will. But I'll shoot before I lose my chance. Let's see. Where should I hit her? I'm not good at this, so forgive me for not being able to aim that well. Me, you aren't serious, are you? Don't anyone move. I'm the leader of this club. If I can protect you all, I'll be satisfied with that. If I don't make it, set up a shrine inside my locker and pray for me there. You'll be taking over my position, Kei-chan. Help him out, okay? Mion is prepared to die. I'm already cornered. I won't accept any words of negotiation. Mion understands that, right? She doesn't want anyone else to be killed. That's why she chose to be a shield for her friends. That was an easy decision to make for her, because none of her friends would end up hurt. If she ends up just getting injured, that would be a stroke of luck as far as she's concerned. Even if she doesn't make it, she thinks that's far better than seeing any of her friends die. And that's why Takano will shoot. Even though she understands Mion's noble intentions painfully well, it's too visceral for her to accept. So she'll shoot. I will pull the trigger. With all the absurdities of the human world riding on that bullet, I will shoot her! You all play games often, right? Have you ever played Old Maid? No. We play Old Bachelor, though. They use the same rules. The human world is just like a game of Old Maid. Everyone's trying to force the Old Maid onto someone else. It's a game that seeks to determine not a winner, but a single loser. The sacrifice. You see, I picked the Joker, but there's nobody else to pass the card to. That's why I'll shoot you as my revenge. Fitting for this irrational world of man, isn't it? I'm preparing myself to shoot. There's no hesitation left in me. I will shoot her. I'm serious. Mion closed her eyes and opened her arms to try to shield her friends as much as she could. And that was when Hanyu stepped forward and placed herself in front of Mion. Hanyu! Get back! Brave, Mion. I've witnessed your courage. That's more than enough. If the Joker can't be passed to anyone in this human world, then it's my job to accept it. Hanyu, what are you? Rika, I had a lot of fun in this world. Thank you for letting me join the club. It was so much more to be fun. More fun to be in it than just to watch. So thank you. I enjoyed myself. I was so happy spending time with you. In that moment, Hanyu glared at me adamantly. Now shoot me, child of man. With that sin you must foist onto another. I will accept it. Okay. Okay. Fine, die! The club members must have thought I was joking or bluffing. They didn't think that I would actually shoot. There was a noise like something exploding. In a world where time became as sticky as syrup, we saw it happen. The silver bullet hitting an invisible wall in front of Hanyu, as though the wall was protecting her. The bullet wanted to pierce Hanyu's chest, but it couldn't reach its goal. A bead of sweat formed on Hanyu's forehead. She had stopped the bullet with an invisible force. Hanyu! I'm okay. I can do this even in human form. The silver bullet was being pushed back. Takano was startled by this otherworldly phenomenon, but then she spoke one phrase. You! Monster! The silver bullet smashed through that invisible wall.
There was no longer a wall at all. There was no wall to protect Hanyu from the bullet. The bullet approached Hanyu's chest. Somebody let out a silent scream. Nobody could stop it. Nobody could stop that bullet. In the world of frozen time, nobody could stop the bullet that was stopped just inches from Hanyu's chest. Hanyu's friends had seen this scene before. The moment of checkmate. No matter how much they screamed, there was no way to avoid this tragedy. How did she get away from the mountain dogs, by the way? They knew that from their memories. You will die for sure. Think about the good old times as much as you want. When you're finished doing that, the bullet will pierce your chest. Drown in your own blood.
Unless I was prepared to do so, I wouldn't be here.
Hanyu thought that this would take care of everything. Hanyu wasn't supposed to exist in the first place. She would leave the stage and the rest of the cast would stay unharmed. This is how it's supposed to be. But in that moment, something happened to surprise even Hanyu. In the world of frozen time in which nobody could move, Rika reached out and put her hand on the bullet that was stopped in midair. How could she move? Even Hanyu couldn't move. Why? Could a mere human like Rika grab that bullet?
Don't be so surprised. You've already learned about that. You've learned about how to make a miracle happen. A lot of amazing things happened today, but none of them were worth being called a miracle. If we all believed in each other, it was supposed to happen. Therefore, I will perform a real miracle in this very last moment. I am the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama after all, so let me make a miracle happen at the very end.
Rika rubbed the frozen bullet gently, very gently, and then held it and embraced it lovingly, her hands at her chest. In that world where not even Hanyu could move.
Now I realize that neither Takano nor Hanyu listen when other people talk. Didn't you hear what Mion said? We don't play Old Maid. We play Old Bachelor instead. Takano laughed and said they were basically the same game, but they're totally different. In Old Maid, a single joker, an unharmonized element is added to a full harmonized set of cards, and people try to foist it onto another. But in Old Bachelor, one card is removed from that harmonized world, and everyone foists the unharmonized fragments on each other. It's different than having a joker, because everything would be in harmony if there wasn't something missing. Players tried to get rid of something in both games, but what they try to get rid of is very different. In our game, the loser is left with one last card too. I can understand how Takano thought they were the same thing, but they are different. Because in our game, if the missing card was added back in, there would be no loser. Hanyu, the missing card in this world where someone has to foist their sins onto another, has joined the game. So this game has no losers. Yet you're still trying to take one card away. What a waste of a miracle. This world doesn't need a losing card. That is the answer I finally reached after a 1,000-year journey, trying to find a miracle. The answer has always been there. It was there in the very first game of Mion's club. There was always a loser because we were playing a game of cards with one missing. If we could fill in for the missing card by believing in each other and helping each other, then It would complete a full deck of 52 cards. A complete world without a loser. A complete world where no one is left out. Nobody has to stay out of the circle. Nobody has to cry or be burdened with sins. A world where everyone holds each other's hands and forgives each other's sins. When people live, there will be sin. What's important isn't to avoid sins, but to forgive them. A world can only become ugly and twisted when people try to stay pure. Let us accept our sins. Let us all forgive. That's the answer Rika Furude reached. A complete world. A world free from the sin of the human world, where one has to become a loser. Rika reached that as a human being. After an unbelievably long time, she finally reached it.
Oh, geez, that's bright. The frozen time had begun to thaw. There was smoke coming from the muzzle of Takano's gun, so it was definitely fired. However, nobody got hit. Keiichi looked around fearful to make sure nobody was bleeding. They were all fine. Nobody had been shot.
Ha! You missed! Serves you right!
The tension lifted in Mion's body and she began to sweat all over.
How did I miss at this distance?
All the club members thought the same thing. It was a miracle that the bullet didn't hit anyone. The club members had all felt the same way. They were all thinking, if it's going to hit someone, let it hit me. However, Rika Furude wished for a miracle that was far beyond that. Rika wished for a miracle that was higher than self-sacrifice. She wished for a world where the bullet wouldn't hit anyone. She wished for a world where Takano wouldn't be hurt. Oh, fuck Takano! Footsteps were rushing towards them. Takano tried to run, but she tripped over a root and the scrapbook in her hand scattered everywhere. As she tried to gather up the papers, members of the Bloodhounds surrounded her. All the Bloodhounds pointed their guns her way, and some even poked her with them, but Takano didn't stop gathering up the papers. Some of the men stepped on the papers, and Takano tried to pull them up from under them. She tried to pull them out, begging them in tears not to step on her precious papers. Fuck her. Major Takano, you are under arrest.
So, it's all my fault, is it? Meh. Why would you feel bad for her?
I'm not even gonna...
Stand up. Put your hands behind your back. She literally just tried to kill one of you. I want to take my grandma's scrapbook with me. No!
Takano just wanted to pick up the pages of her scrapbook.
Stop trying to make this murderous bitch, like, redeemable. She is not. She just tried to kill somebody.
No, I'm angry. No, it was not. It's easy. In fact, I wish she would have got shot in the fucking head.
No, I'm not reading this.
Fuck you.
No. What are you doing? She just tried to kill a child again.
But Sue, ignore blah 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 blah.
Can't you tell? Just look at her. Look at all the scars. She's been scratching herself. She must have Hinamizawa syndrome. Oh, that doesn't excuse her fucking behavior. There were lots of horrible scars on her wrists, arm, and neck. Takano had scratched herself throughout the day because of the stress. There was no way to be any certain if those marks were symptoms of the syndrome. But when Tomitake said that, it certainly sounded true. But the Major must have been given medication to prevent her from contracting the disease. There's no way she should have it. Haven't you read the report? It says the inoculation isn't 100% effective. I don't care. I want her dead.
Whatever. I'm skipping this. I'm sorry.
But clearly it's her will because she has been planning this for 10 fucking years, Tomitake. And Game, which clearly forgot about that. We have to be very, very certain, otherwise it'll be impossible to resolve this matter. Was it her fault? Or was it the fault of her disease? It's impossible to determine that right now. To make sure she has
has the right to receive treatment, she is obligated to let herself be treated. She just tried to shoot a child again. You cannot... Take her to the Irie Institute so she can be examined immediately. Notify Lieutenant Colonel Irie so he can prepare to treat Major Takano. I hate this. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it. I told you. Did I not tell you? Fuck her. However, from here on, the Major will be placed under strict observation and all activities will be restricted. The particular orders should come from command through Colonel Oka, Director of Investigations. The Bloodhouse conveyed all of this information over the radio. Nobody had any objections. Their job was to arrest her after all. Any interrogations or investigations after that were the job of investigations. So if those were orders from investigations, then that was that. Tomitake walked over to the muddy figure of Takano. Chiro-san! Chiro-san! Oh, I lost! And I'm upset because I lost, but I just tried to kill another child, so love me. Wah. I'm not... You don't deserve tears! No, I'm not reading this. I will not read this bullshit. What? She just tried to kill a child! You're not as bad as you think you are? Fuck off. I committed too many sins. I should be dead. Yes, you should. Well, yes, that's true. Your sins might not be so light, but don't worry. I'll be with you. Ah! I can't. I'm too angry right now. But can I still live? Are you saying I'm allowed to live? Can I be forgiven? No. The world may not forgive you, but so what? I'll forgive you. Tomitake, you are such a fucking sap. She used you. She used you, and she killed you in like 5 different worlds. You know what? You deserve every single time you died. So let's live. Death can't atone for sins. You must live and ask the world to forgive you, and then start your life over. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. You guys, if you forgive Takano, let me know, but I do not. I can't even read this because I'm so angry. Why does this novel think that everyone has to have a happy ending? There are certain villains. Okay, there are certain villains who have fantastic stories. Like, for example, Higurashi in Boku no Hero Academia. Takano is a bitch who, I will say again, ripped Rika's intestines out while she was alive. Oh, and gathered all the villagers in one place and gassed them to death. Are we taking Hitler and asking him to redeem himself and telling him he will be okay? No. Which is why I'm not fucking reading this. Oh, she's handcuffed. Good. She was holding the scrapbook. Tomitake had cleaned the mud off of it. The downpour from the earlier afternoon had passed. The cicadas began singing again, reminding everything that this was a normal June in Hinamizawa. It was so hot despite being June, and the sky was brilliantly clear. Someone asked someone else the time. She looked at her watch. It was 3 p.m. The Watanagashi festival would be starting at 5. It was almost time. Even from there, the Furude shrine could be seen. There were red lanterns hanging all over. Once the sun went down, those lanterns would be lit. It was almost time for the Watanagashi festival. You just said that like a sentence ago. And with that, everything would end when the Higurashi cry. Oh my god. The game that has stretched across different worlds has ended, and what the window obtained after their victory is that the game ended without a loser. Ah. Hanyu was prepared to leave after the game was over, but she was still there. She was allowed to be there. In other words, she wasn't the card that was taken away. The card that was taken to play their game of Old Bachelor was no longer there. I'm pretty sure they did play Old Maid, by the way. Just saying. Like, I would almost 100% bet that was the first game they played. The breeze rustled Hanyu's sweaty, messed up hair. She was dumbfounded. Rika went over and stood next to her. She didn't need to say anything. She only smiled at Hanyu. That girl had pretended to be a bystander, but decided to step onto the stage. And then she thought that was enough, and tried to step off of it. With those memories of her bright time on stage, she tried to step off, but someone grabbed her sleeve and stopped her. She was told that she could stay, that she realized she was still on the stage and she didn't have to leave after all. How many times do you have to say the same thing? And that was an unbelievable miracle. She didn't even exist in the script. Nobody needed her to be there, but the miracle had allowed her to stay.
You suffered so much during your journey. This miracle isn't even enough to repay you for what you've gone through. Mipa. Oh, this is more than enough. This miracle is more than enough.
Rika smiled at Hanyu one more time and passed her what was in her right hand. Hanyu felt something cold and hard. What was it? Hanyu slowly opened her hand and looked at it. It was the bullet Takano had fired. This was the proof of their miracle. It was the proof that Hanyu could exist there. It was the proof that they could be together forever and ever.
It'll be dark soon. It's time for the festival. Ow. We'll have so much fun together. You can't just watch us anymore. I'm sure there will be plenty of punishments to torture the poor newcomer. I don't just have to watch the Watanagashi festival, huh? That's right. Because you don't watch a festival, you enjoy it.
Were they testing the speakers? It was still bright outside, but there was music playing already. The cheap dub BGM could be heard in the distance. It sounded so exciting to her. This is what she had wanted to join in on all this time. Rika held her hand. Let's go together. Let's go to the Watanagashi festival. All of us. Together. Yeah. I like this music. Why'd they have to call it BGM? They had almost too much energy left. It'd been a long day and many things had happened, but they still had energy to go to the festival. It was, after all, the special day of Watanagashi. The curse of Oyashiro-sama had been lifted, and no tragedy would ever occur again. It was the first peaceful Watanagashi, the first one without a tragedy since the dam conflict. The villagers had noticed that the phone lines were disconnected during the day, but it was fixed so quickly that they didn't pay much attention. They heard the self-defense force helicopter near the mountains, but the rumor had came to the wrong place for their training. The elderly villagers laughed and said that the young men of the National Defense Force needed to pay more attention. Some people say the self-defense force even came to the Irie clinic. They assumed that the Irie clinic had started doing physical checkups for the SDF. There were pieces of broken glass on the roadside near the village border, as if there was an accident. Some people wondered how anyone could have had an accident when there was no obstruction on the road. The elderly people said to each other that they always had to drive carefully, even on a familiar road. But it looked only like a trace of a normal accident. so they didn't get suspicious. The rest was a ghost story. The villagers heard an extra firework to signal the festival taking place. It wasn't an echo. The people in charge of the fireworks were puzzled, but when Rika said Oyashiro-sama must have shot the extra firework, the villagers simply believed that was true. It was the night of the Watanagashi, the biggest festival of the year. The villagers forgot their worries and enjoyed themselves. The club members were doing great as usual. They were doing so great that they were taken to the main tent and yelled at by the mayor. That was a normal Watanagashi night for the villagers. But there was one thing that was very different. The girls fought for an unimaginably long time in many different worlds for the sake of this night. However, nobody would ever know that. Oh, there was another big change too. Rika Furude said that she wants to go to a pool in this summer. It's unusual for her to say she wants to do something. She wants to see the stars. She wants to go on a camping trip. She wants to look at sunflowers. She wants to make the school into a haunted house, etc. There are so many things she wants to do over the summer break. Right. Rika Furude, for the first time, is making plans for after June 1983. Because this is the first summer break she's going to experience after 100 years of repeating the same life. She will now experience an all-new summer vacation. Who would stop her from getting excited about that? Rika Furude is looking forward to waking up before Satoko to rip the page off the calendar at the end of June. Rika Furude's infinite future has begun. There are infinite possibilities, yet she can only make one choice. But that's why it's a great world. Now, let's talk for a moment about the people who fought with Rika Furude. Mion Sonozaki had vowed to study hard so she can continue her education after the summer break. According to Keiichi, even that may not be enough time for her. However, how can the legendary club leader Mion Sonozaki fail an entrance exam? She will more than likely find a way to get into the school she wants to go to. Hopefully it isn't an illegal one. Anyhow, she's looking forward to enjoying her final summer break, so she has tons of plans. The club members can't get away from Mion even during the summer. Once you're involved with her, she'll always find a way to get at you. No matter how much you want to be alone, you'll never go back to spending a boring summer by yourself. Keiichi Maibara has been asked by Mion and Shi-sensei to be their next class president. He was also asked to be the next club leader too, but he declined immediately. Keiichi likes the club because Mion runs it. He continued saying that it's Mion's club until she got mad. Keiichi can't understand why she's so angry. Well, Keiichi wouldn't be Keiichi if he wasn't dense. She didn't confess to him? So things are rather lively around him again today. His good name continues to spread even in Okonomiya. Reina Ryugu is growing more energetic every day too. Satoko, Rika, and Hanyu spend every day in fear of being abducted by her. Still, she's been acting more mature lately. She takes care of her younger classmates, and she's almost like a mother figure to the class. She is like a mother to all the club members, too. After hearing that, Keiichi said he'd be a father for the class. As usual, Reina thought about that too much and blushed. Satoko Hojo is as lively as ever. She used most of her traps on the mountain during the battle with the mountain dogs, so she's setting up new ones for the next event. Rumor has it, some of the members of the Bloodhounds were so impressed with her trap techniques that they asked her for some lessons. There is supposed to be a training area near Mount Fuji, and they asked her to set up her traps there. That's not a very good idea. The sea of trees really will become a forest of no return. Either way, Satoko keeps saying how she wants to fight against the Bloodhounds next. She's invincible. Also, she's become a great cook. That's because Hanyu has been teaching her. According to Hanyu, Satoko is a quick learner, as compared to Rika. Satoko's dream is to master fried chicken, which is her brother's favorite, and welcome him home with it. I'm the only one who knows this, but her dream may come true very soon. As for her brother, Satoshi Hojo has yet to return home. His condition is unchanged. If there's been any change, it's in Shion Sonozaki. She goes to the clinic on her days off. Nobody knows why she goes there, but she seems to be very happy, so nobody pays much attention to it. Mion has teased Shion by saying maybe she's planning on getting implants, but Shion just smiles. Also, for whatever reason, she's been visiting her relative's clothes shop and buying up all kinds of men's clothing. Lately, she's even buying more than just men's clothing, but why is she so excited when she visits the clinic with a maid outfit that's not in her size? The truth is shrouded in mystery. The biggest change is probably that Shion babies Satoko nowadays. She tries to make Satoko call her Nene, which only annoys Satoko. Kyosuke Irie has two jobs now. On one hand, he is a respected doctor, and on the other, he is an evangelist for maids. The Irie clinic was supposed to be closed, but the villagers pleaded with the authorities not to shut it down. While Irie isn't originally from the village, he and everyone else feels that he's one of the villagers now. He's an indispensable part of village life. The conservative attitude towards Hinamizawa syndrome is gone, and now it is being researched very proactively. The syndrome is being researched so passionately that hopefully in the near future, all the victims of this disease will be freed for good. Also, later on, ADA will publish an advanced article about the influence of the brain on human behavior, which will surprise people in the medical world. I won't go into details here, but it'll talk about how one should hate the sins instead of the sinner. The deceased Hifumi Takano and Miya Takano's names will be mentioned in that article. Jiro Tomitake still visits Hinamizawa every season. He is still known as the fighting, traveling photographer, and he continues to walk around the village looking for good picture spots. However, he isn't seen in the village as much as before. His bicycle is always parked around the back of the clinic, so maybe he spends a lot of time there. Some villagers say maybe he's sick and being treated, but his bright smile proves they're wrong. Mio didn't fight alongside them. They tried to actively kill her. Nobody, whatever. She's probably I don't care about her. She should be dead. As for Mamoru Aksa, what happened to him was pretty funny. His wife and daughter followed him in secret. They pretended to run into him at the festival. Rika called him Papa, so things grew complicated all of a sudden. Aksaka's wife smiled, but she choked his neck with her braided hair. Her arms were folded, but her braid moved like a tail. Squeeze! She tortured a man who destroyed a special forces unit without even using a weapon. Rika continued to tease him, making the situation even worse. However, Aksaka's family liked Hinamizawa, and they said they wanted to come back. Oh, that's who the little girl in the opening is. Akasaka's daughter and Rika grew so close that they seemed like sisters. That scene with Mahjong, I didn't understand at all. Kurado Oishi has gotten back into playing Mahjong. For whatever reason, Akane Sonozaki has joined his table too, and there's a rumors in the Riot Squad almost got dispatched to the Mahjong parlor one time. His colleagues say Oishi has calmed down quite a bit. It's probably because he has reached closer within himself, but his colleagues know nothing about that. He's planning to move to Hokkaido when he retires, but he wants to come back every summer. His bright second life is waiting for him. Tatsuyoshi Kasai hasn't changed much compared to the others. For some people, this was a life-changing event, but for Kasai, it was just another episode added to his tales of heroics. According to Kasai, this incident was just a little bigger than usual. If this was just a little unusual, then what in the world would be needed to impress him? Shion insists that he will tell her, but Kasai only tells her that's a secret. Also, he regretted exposing that part of his past. Shion keeps begging him to tell her about it, but he simply ignores her. Let me talk about myself, too. Oh, Hanyu. I, Hanyu, am doing great in my new life as Hanyu Furude. I'm finally getting better at playing games, and I'm now taking the role of the club's dark horse, a position formerly reserved for Keiichi Maebara. I have a bad habit of believing everything I hear, so Mion and the others always tell me some strange things. Thanks to that, I'm getting tougher, to put it in a good way. Shrewd, to put it in a bad one. But then I need to, otherwise I wouldn't survive in this club. I'm going to continue to learn a lot of stuff through these club activities so I can live in this human world. Sunday, June 19th, 1983. Night falls on my longest day of the past 1,000 years. The club members are having a blast. A lot of people are here. The stall vendors are still doing business. The speakers are blaring rough yet exciting festival music. I've known all these, but how wonderful it is to actually feel and hear them in person. I thought I knew. I thought I knew because I've been following and watching them, but that was completely different. I knew of it, but this is the first time I've actually experienced it. We had a takoyaki eating contest. There was no octopus in it, but it was still very tasty. We had a shaved ice eating contest. I would have enjoyed the shaved ice if I'd eaten it more slowly. I bought a candied apple for the first time. Everyone took a bite from it. It was tasty, and it was fun. We played a shooting game. I didn't know how difficult it would be to shoot a target, but it was fun too. Also, we played a shady lottery game. It was one of those things you pulled a string and got a prize. Nobody got a good prize. We all complained about it to the vendor. That too was just so much fun. Then it was time for the dedication dance. Of course we go there early, so we commandeered the best seats. I snuck out and stood where I was told to. I could see better than the other club members. This was the spot where the object of worship sat. This was where I was supposed to be during the ritual dance. No, this was where I thought I had to be. But seeing the dance from that spot wasn't fun. Therefore, I returned to where I was and sat with everyone else. They saved me a spot. Everyone rubbed my head asking me where I went. I apologized by saying, "Ow!" That made me very happy. I watched the performance in the crowd of people. It was the best dance I've witnessed in the past 1,000 years. I couldn't keep either my happiness or my tears from flowing out. After the dance was over, a handful of cotton was passed around to all the villagers.
We let the cotton absorb all the filth and sins of the past year and washed it down the stream. Cotton is cotton. Obviously, it's not human. We use cotton instead of humans so that nobody is sad. In other words, this is the way to purify sins without making anyone suffer. Here you are! This is for you, Hanyu-chan! Do you know how to do it? Yes, I do! I go like this and drift it down the stream, right? Oh! The girl who gave me the cotton took the letter I from her name during last year's Watangashi and washed it down the stream. By doing so, she was freed from her suffering and began a new life. We drifted our sins down the stream. It's not the same as pushing our sins onto cotton. Instead, we wash away our own sins and forgive ourselves. We forgive each other. We help each other. That's how we create our own story. I put my cotton in the stream gently. The cotton went down the stream. I'm surprised they put Shion in that shot because they leave her out so much. Poor Shion. The cotton went down the stream into the world where sins are cleansed. I let my bare feet soak in the clear stream as I watched the long, long line. Of cotton flowing downstream in the dark, surrounded by people sending their cotton flowing down the wondrous stream. This is a complete world where all the fragments were put together. This is an ideal world. What else is there? What else do you need? Hanyu Furude. Okay, because... What? Not a long time from now, but in the near future. Then when is it? I told you. It's in the near future. We will be happy then too. See? That is so bright. Whee! I think that's it. It keeps going, so I'm like, I don't want to celebrate yet. Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is accepting that. Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is fulfilling that. Oh, that goes too fast. Guys, I think we did it. I think after this long time, we have finally finished Higurashi. You guys already know my opinions, and I feel like I could rant about this forever. But please let me know what you think. I'm very curious because I loved the first half of this and hated the second half of this. I am stubborn and I'm a completionist, so I vowed to finish this. But I did not enjoy. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't enjoy the constant
trying to be realistic, trying to be anime, but not being able to decide between the two. I didn't enjoy the making it a disease, but yet still having supernatural aspects. That's what I mean by saying, like, it was trying to be realistic with this disease, but then also had, like, the Steins Gate effect happening. So there was supernatural aspects clearly occurring, and yet they were like, no, we gotta be realistic. And then, like, the whole final battle, like, sometimes they were, like, had guns. Sometimes they just conveniently forgot there were no guns. It felt very like, oh, this is the last chapter, we gotta finish it. And then they tried so hard to redeem, I say in quotes, Takano, and yet there is no redemption. And the reason they did that, I get it, is because they're going with this whole, like, purify our sins thing, right? So her purifying sin, but she is an awful person. Awful. She even tried to shoot somebody after her whole thing. Like, no redemption. If she would have put her gun down, I still would hate her. But at least it would have make a little more sense as to what they were going for. But no, she didn't. She shot, trying to kill somebody. Again. So, no. Anyways, so thank you guys so much for taking this journey with me. We have been trying to finish this visual novel for such a long time, and I thank you so much for your patience. I work as a voice actress, you all know this. If you don't, please check out my work. So it's very hard for me to do, like, full-on narration games like this, where I'm basically reading the entire thing, because I also use my voice to work during the day, and I need to be very gentle with my voice. So I thank you so much for sticking this out with me and for watching this to the end. And I just have a sense of relief over me that this is done. And yeah. Like I said, it was not all bad. The beginning, when it was like mystery and horror, was great. The answer arcs were terrible. I didn't like them. And I'm an honest person. I didn't. I like Shion, and I like Satoshi, and I called it. Too predictable. I think it's really funny. It's just, it's trying to be too much of one thing, and it just feels very scattered. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.